The NBA season is in the books and the draft is done, which means the summer basketball season is in session across the country and especially here in the city, from citywide basketball to the Rucker Tournament. Here to share their summer basketball experiences are two old friends of the show, Hicks of Game Over. Welcome back, Eric.
Hey, man, good to be here.
And also former PSAL Commissioner, and also he's in charge of One Breath Academy, Ted Gustus. Welcome back.
I see, Ray.
And as also we have at the table, first time former NBA and current international player who first got the game right here in Brooklyn, Smush Parker. Welcome to BK Live.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you know, we got to talk about what's happening at Madison Square Garden.
Uh-oh.
He's gone. Phil's gone. There's been talk that he may leave. He was going to leave, that Melo was here to stay. Porzingis was pissed off to a degree, and now they got what they want. He's out of here.
Well, when you say they, I guess you're
Some
talking
folks.
about...
I'm talking certain members of the team, certain members, and certain people in management. You know, it was an overall team effort to a degree.
Well,
right?
I think that remains to be seen who's happy and who's upset by the movement. But I know the talk of trading Porzingis was something that people weren't going to stand for. So whether that was a Phil Jackson Zen head game or it was a reality, that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back. But in the NBA, nobody's untradeable. So there's no problem with looking and listening and fielding offers and things like that. But had he made that move, I think that that would have been the nail in the coffin. But they took a preemptive strike and said, Phil, you got your money, man. Let's move in another direction.
That was definitely a head game.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a part of head games. My fair share playing in the NBA. So that was definitely a Phil, not just Phil Jackson, but coaches all over in the NBA do things like that.
Ted?
Well, in the name of Phil Jackson, it's time to take one breath. That's the Zen master, and basically he did what he could do here, and now he's got to move on. I'm looking forward to it.
Was it a matter that he couldn't get the players to do as far as the triangle? He had a number of coaches. Fisher's gone. Now he has Hornacek, who's in there, and certain seem like they just were not cooperating with him overall.
I think,
despite the rings,
I always thought that the Knicks always brought in great players, but didn't have a system set up. So one of the encouraging things I thought with Phil is that he would bring a system and recruit the players to fit the system. And that's a great formula. Unfortunately, he's not coaching. And that's where the challenge came, because you got to be on the sideline.
You think he should have been on the floor coaching?
Well, I definitely think he belonged on the floor coaching. But I definitely think they didn't bring in the right players for that triangle offense.
Right, and I think that what you're trying to do is force square pegs in round holes. If you don't have the players to run the system, then you have to decide. You're going to get rid of players or you're going to change the system. I think what happened was the players are tougher to get rid of. You can get rid of the system, and Phil refused to get rid of the system.
And did Phil get lost in time?
Well,
the fact is that, hey, it worked with Michael Jordan. It worked back in the 90s. It worked with L.A. But you know what?
I wonder if Phil really wanted the job, because the stories in the beginning were they asked him to come. He gave a price. And he didn't think they were going to meet that price. And they met the price. Then he said, well, let me bump it up. He went up higher, and they met that price, and it kept going, where it was got to be ridiculous for him not to take the job. So he took the job. Did he really want it? Did he really want to leave L.A. at 71 years old, the beautiful weather, the whole thing, his life that was going on there, to come and take on a dysfunctional franchise?
And plus, he was a consultant to a degree with the Lakers.
Yeah, at that time, And with Magic Johnson back at the Lakers, who knows that he may still be empowered to whisper in Magic Johnson's ear and still be a part of the game.
Because Jerry West is out of the West right now.
Yeah.
He's not with L.A., he's not with the Clippers.
Yeah, we're not going to see him coach. We're not going to see him president of a team again, I don't think. You never know. But he will have his influence, and he will be able to say some things. I'm sure him and Magic, have a decent relationship.
Moving forward, Isaiah Thomas, he is part of the New York Liberty. I believe he's in the administrative staff or GM or to that degree. Did you see him maybe moving over into that position? I mean, because Dolan, one thing you can say about Dolan, love him or hate him, he is loyal.
First of all, I always like Isaiah. I thought that he brought in some very good players and so forth like that there. I don't know is a great fit for him here again.
Who, Isaiah?
Yes. here again because of all the other issues that concern around the Knicks. Anywhere else, I think it would be great, especially with men's basketball. I like to see Mark Jackson as one of the coaches. I think that he has that, now that Phil is out there, he has that.
Will the present coach stay?
I think that what's going to happen is Stu Jackson is now the interim president, and I think that the move would be to Mark Jackson. So we're going to have the Jackson 2 in the garden. And Mark Jackson, to me, deserves a shot. I mean, he's a New York guy. He's proven with the whole Clippers thing. And it's amazing how even Steve Kerr gave Mark Jackson a lot of credit for what it is that has developed out there at the Golden State Warriors. I mean, Golden State Warriors.
I would like to see Mark Jackson on that sideline for the Knicks.
Okay. Up close and personal, you had a pretty good relationship with Phil, would you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you, as far as, what is your take on what's going on right now?
Well, again, I don't think he brought in the right pieces to run the triangle. I don't think they had the proper coaching to run the triangle. Jeff Hornacek never played in the triangle. He couldn't coach the triangle, in my opinion. They had Derek Fisher here for a little bit, but again, they didn't have the right personnel to run the triangle. I played in it. You need the right pieces to run that system. You know, we had the Knicks had a bunch of players who were playmakers. That offense is not a playmaking offense. It's a system, it's a pass and cut. You know, read where the ball goes, you know, read what the defense is doing. And to me, they didn't have the right personnel.
So Phil was basically, like I said, stuck in time. He was not really willing to adjust at all to the players that, you know.
Yeah, but when you say stuck in time, I don't believe, because the Golden State Warriors is running part of the triangle offense. Okay. You know, that's not, San Antonio runs the triangle offense. So there's variation of the triangle. When we talk about moving without the ball, that's stuck in time. No, it's not. That's part of basketball. You know, unfortunately, some of our players need to get in time.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
But that's not being stuck in time.
All right, cool. You know what? We're going to move on from the NBA to summer basketball, man. And it's, you know, right now we're in the midst of the summer basketball season. Unfortunately, summer basketball will miss a major player in Greg Marius.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, Greg is celebrated as the creator, the father, or whatever of the Entertainers Basketball Classic. People conflate that with the Rucker, but it was really the Entertainers Basketball Classic. Was almost like the Rucker on steroids. My relationship with Greg was a respect from a business aspect, from a businessman. I know we saw the action and the tremendous play on the court, but as a business, for him to stick with this for 20 years, and we see the end result, but there wasn't always the good times. And anybody could stick with it in a game that I feel, as African Americans, we should own more, we should be able to get a bigger piece of. For him to stick with that for 20 years and have it turn into what it turned to, something that was known all over the world, a formula from the music to the guy on the microphone, whether it was Booby Smooth or Cash, these guys on the microphone, on the court, you know, Hannibal on the court. I mean, people duplicated that not only in other parks around the New York City area, but around the world. I took that formula to Spain. And when we did our one-on-one tournament in Spain, I said, this is what you have to have. You got to have the DJ. You got to have the guy on the microphone on the court, all of the elements and everything. And Greg was one that brought that. He brought entertainment.
And the other thing he did, too, was during the NBA players' strike, he was also instrumental because there was talk of maybe some of the black players creating their own league, and he was in the middle of those talks to a degree, I heard.
Entrepreneur, man. Entrepreneur. You got to give the guy credit. I mean, the things that he dealt with, especially when there were certain things. Well, first of all, to do a tournament like that, you're basically giving up your life every summer for 20 years. And how many people want to do that when you have families and other things pulling? Then you've got guys. I watched him get blamed one time for calls that referees were making, and guys wanted to beat him up for calls that referees were making. Oh, they're cheating, and you told them to do this. Who puts up with that for 20 years and things like that in order for this to grow into a thing where you can go out there for free and see Smush Parker, Rafer Austin, Jamal Tinsley. I mean, the quality and the style of basketball was so entertaining for free right there at 155th Street, man, on 8th Avenue. And there were times, I remember the days when it was a game at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, you had to get there at 3. you know, and before the bleachers, and people were bringing their own crates and their own chairs to get a front row seat. Man, he really, really grew that from the music industry.
What are some of the hottest places right now where city basketball, summer basketball is being played? You got EBC, you got Dykeman, you got Dean Street.
Gershwin.
Got Hoops in the Sun.
Hoops in the Sun.
West 4th Street.
Watson. I mean, it's just basketball has grown in street basketball, and that formula remains the same. You know, the guy on the microphone is like the most powerful thing in those settings, and they control what goes on there. You know, a lot of the good behavior and a lot of the things that are tolerated there or not tolerated there, controlled by that guy on the mic.
And this is all goes back to citywide, right? When Gulf and Western was running citywide, and right?
Yeah, that's Sisu Watkins. And
right.
They actually
Sonny Werbeland and those folks.
Yeah, citywide. I used to put my teams in there, and our goal was to win so we can go to the Garden, and it is great. So, but the thing also, what I think in the summertime that we're missing is just going out in the park and play. Yes. That's a major, major thing that we need to get back on the scene, because a lot of times that's where the skills are developed, the creativity is developed, where there's no referees and guys are sitting on the side waiting for that game where they can get a chance to play.
Also, Eric, we were talking off the phone, there's sometimes a degree of danger during summer basketball.
Well, what happens is it's free, right? And then I know that there was a time when you had guys gambling on the side and drinks and things being on the side. And there were some tournaments where you had as many police officers as players. And this just goes hand in hand. I often say to people, you know, you like this tournament unless you have a house across the street from there. Then on a Saturday afternoon, don't try to sell that house, because people are double parked all over the place, and the Parks Department may not have enough bathrooms, and this, that, and the other. So there are certain things, but if you know that and you are prepared, you can prepare for these things and run a good, quality, safe environment. But that starts at the top, and Greg had the formula.
Eric, we are out of time. Thanks for coming in, gentlemen.
Thanks for having me.
This quarter's over. I'd like to have you guys back again.
Yes, sir.
God willing. All right.